If you're new to the Zumi wearable breast pump, then stick around. In this video, I'm going to go through everything you need to know about using the Zumi wearable breast pump. So let's get started and take a look at the different components that make up the Zumi wearable breast pump. And to do that, the best way is to disassemble it and show you. So the thing I like is the Zumi has very minimal parts. First of all, you have your pump motor. Now this has all your control settings up the top. It is what creates and drives the suction. You have your connector piece. Now the connector piece connects the different parts of your pump together, including the duckbill valve, which sits at the bottom. Now this is very important for making sure your milk flows into your collection container, helping to prevent any leaks. You have your diaphragm, which sits on top of your connector. Now this helps to ensure that you don't have any milk backflowing into your pump motor. You have your collection container that sits at the bottom of your connector, and then you have your flange. Now the flange here is I don't know if you can see that, a 25 millimeter. You do also in your kit have a 17 millimeter and a 21 millimeter flange insert, and I will go through those shortly. Also in your kit you have caps for your bottle for storage for later, and you also have your USB charger. Now the thing I love about this is it's actually a double, so you can charge both your pumps at the same time off the one USB charger. Okay, so how does this all go back together? First, we're going to take our connector. We're going to take our duckbill valve that sits just at the bottom here, and we simply push that on nice and firm. Give it a little tug. Really important that all our pieces go on nice and firmly. Any air gaps will lead to a loss of suction and potentially leaks. So once that's all nice and firm, we're going to take our diaphragm, and that simply sits on the top. You want the protruding bit to sit inside. So I don't know how well you can see that. It sits inside, and then we push that down nice and firmly, making sure that the seal is there. Then we take our bottle. Now this is simply a twist on and off. It will align nice and flat. And then this simply pushes into your pump motor. You'll hear it clip in. Make sure here, so you want to make sure that that lines up here. If there's a gap, that's not in properly. So make sure it is nice and securely in and you hear the clip. And then we'll take our flange. You'll see here that it's a bit of an oval shape. Make sure the numbers are facing upright in line with the arrow there. And you simply line that up, the flange opening here with the flange tunnel, and push that in. And there we go. We are ready to get pumping. Now, let's take a look at the different settings before we go any further, so you know how to use your pump. So when you turn your pump on, there is a power button here. It will turn on in pause mode. So if you turn your pump on and you don't hear it sounding, that is okay, that is normal. To turn your pump on so it is activated, simply press a short press on the power button. And if you want to pause it, it's simply a short press on the power button. Now this will start automatically in your massage mode, so your stimulation mode, which is represented by this little squiggle here. I don't know how well you can see that, with the little squiggle here. Now, after 2 minutes, this will automatically switch into your expression mode. Now, there are 3 different modes here, and we can change them by pressing this mode button. So we can automatically go into the expression mode after 2 minutes, or if your letdowns come in and you want to go earlier or switch back, simply press this mode button. So your expression is the 2 droplets, and then we can go into our 2-phase mode here, which is a mix of the expression and stimulation. So the stimulation are short suctions for initiating your letdown. Your expression are the longer, deeper suctions for drawing out your breast milk. And then the 2-phase is a combination of both of those. So which mode should you choose? Initially, you will start with the stimulation to let your letdown kick in and then switch over to the expression. Then have a play. Some people find that the mixed mode works better for them. Some prefer to manually switch between, say, 5 minutes of stimulation followed by 5 minutes of expression. It really is individual. So I do recommend that you take the time to play around with the settings, see how it feels, see what your output is, and so you can really find something that works best for you and your body. Now, there are also these buttons on the side, the minus and the plus. These are for adjusting your suction level strength. Now, there are 9 different suction level strengths that you can easily adjust by doing the plus or minus. I recommend starting on a 2 or a 3. And that's just to get a gauge of how it's feeling. You don't want to start on a 9 because that may rip your nipple off with it or feel very uncomfortable. So start lower and then work your way up. The highest suction level strength isn't always the best because your body works on comfort as well as to suction for your output. So find what's a comfortable level to get the best out of your pumping session. Again, it's one that you're going to just have to really play around with and see how your body responds. All right, on here as well, you have your battery mode. So this is your indicator that will tell you where your battery is at. You'll see here the zeros and minutes, that's how long you have been pumping for. There is also, if I switch over, sorry, I missed it, this little button here. Now in the modes, this is a nipple realignment. So if you have inverted nipples, you may want to try this to align your nipple best in the tunnel. So that's another one to have a play around with and see how it works. Now, while we are talking about nipples and flanges, so as I mentioned, this is a 25mm flange. You also have your 21 and 17mm flange inserts. Now, which flange insert should you choose? When you get your kit, you'll see that there is a nipple ruler for measuring. It also goes through how you can find your best nipple fit. So too small, your nipple is not flowing nice and through the flange tunnel. A good fit, you want it to be, let me pull this off. You want it to be going nice and freely through the flange tunnel. You don't want it to be pulling too much in with your areola because that will then damage your areola and potentially your nipple with it. So it's really important to get the right fit. I do have a video I'll link to. Use the nipple ruler that comes with your kit as well. And then once you have the right nipple size, if you need to go down to a smaller flange, you can take your insert and that simply pops in to your flange tunnel like that. And then that will reduce the flange tunnel down to the size of the flange insert. Okay, so I think we're ready to start pumping. What we're going to want to do is sit upright, lean forward slightly, align your nipple. As I said, you can use that little nipple alignment if you need to. Then we're going to want to fasten this with a nice and secure pumping bra. Again, your pump works on suction, so if this is a little bit wobbly and it's not nice and firm against your breast, you have the potential for air to leak in and that will affect your suction. So make sure it's nice and secure fit and then you can start your pumping session. Again, start with your stimulation, and then work over to expression or the two-phase mode. Run your session for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on your body. And then once you are finished, we are going to lean forward, make sure that the milk's not going to just pour out. We're going to want to break the seal with our finger. You don't want to just rip it off because that will rip your nipple off with it and be quite painful. So lean forward and then gently remove your pump. We can then take the pump motor off, take out your flange, unscrew the connector piece, and either place the lid on and store it as is in the bottle or pour it into your preferred storage container. And that is the Zumi. Now, a couple last things. Recharging. So on the side is your USB. Simply goes in. When it is charging on here, you will see a little lightning flash, which will indicate that it is charging. I do recommend that you charge your pump at least once a day so it's ready for use when you need it. As well is we need to then clean our pump after every use and sterilize at least once a day. Now, the pump motor, you do not want to get water on this. If you get any splashes of milk, simply wipe it off with a dry or a damp cloth. If you submerge this in water, you will ruin your pump. So any of the parts that have come in contact with breast milk, we do need to clean after each use. Preferred method is place it in some warm soapy water, give it a good rinse, and then place it to air dry on a paper towel. You don't want to use a dishcloth because that can harbor bacteria. So on a paper towel surface to dry it off. It is also dishwasher safe. And then at least once a day, we're going to want to sterilize these. Now you can do this by the boiling method and pop them into a pot of boiling water for 5 minutes, or the parts are steam sterilizer safe. So you can use a sterilizer for the Zumi. So I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask and I'll do my best to answer. Cheers.